Welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC. Touring the AFC South. Good gracious. There I go. Get my shows mixed up again. But welcome to another episode of This Woman Works. I am your host, Mike Patton. And on this episode, we're going to be talking to someone that is definitely doing some things for the community at the level that she is doing them at. We will find out during this episode. That will be Miss Shetika Davis. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. We're going to get into your story and your journey, where it started, where it is now on this episode. But before we get into that, like I start every episode, it's the Black Girl Magic moment. Now, this moment I bring out or talk about someone that I think has made a great impact in the field that they're in. In this episode, it's Taylor Rooks. Now, Taylor Rooks went to the University of Illinois, and she was breaking stories while she was in school, which that's one thing that people don't even know. But she was breaking big time stories while she was still in school at the University of Illinois, which, for a lot of people, they don't know. She went there. She's from the Atlanta area, but she went to the University of Illinois. But went there, broke stories. 2 months out, she jumps on she gets hired by the Big Ten Network, does her thing there, then goes to Sportsnet New York there, and then also gets hired by Turner Sports and does some things there. She also has her own podcast, also is on with Amazon now on Thursday Night Football, interviews some of the biggest stars and names in sports, and gets into their journeys, things like that, and kind of finds out more about them or brings more out about them, which any great journalist is going to do. So to me, I want to kind of give her props and respect. I mean, she's 32 years old. She started doing this. Of course, she's 22 coming out, and then boom, 10 years, she has gone from being, on college campuses and breaking stories there to being one of the hottest names on the market. And I just wanted to kind of show respect to Taylor Rooks and the great, wonderful things that she is doing. Shetika, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, I'm imagining that's kind of something that's a little bit hard for women to break the barrier of. So that's a good thing as well, especially with her coming out fairly young and getting to where she is at this point. That's amazing.
Very much amazing. And I had to show props to Miss Taylor Rooks. Of course, she's a heartbreaker for a lot of men out there. But hey, she is a hard worker. People, we are talking about her works on this episode, not her looks. Keep your mind right, whoever's listening. But we're going to kind of switch over to everything and get our minds right about the things that you do in terms of your businesses and things like that. But first, before we get into that, we do have to talk about you as a youth. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in East Nashville. I graduated from Stratford High School, but in my younger years, I moved a lot. But I also moved a lot within still the East Nashville area. So I probably went to a lot of the elementary and middle schools that a lot of different people went to. I probably had a time in those schools as well. So I probably got stable when I finally got to Lytton Middle School and graduated from Stratford High School in 93.
Got you. So growing up in East Nashville, now we're not talking about 5 points. For those that are from Nashville, we ain't talking about 5 points. 5 points is what they kind of call it now. But
Look, I
it's East
probably should
Nashville.
have said out east because now it's East
There you
Nashville.
go.
I grew up out east. That's the correct term for back when we were there.
Right. There you go. So what was it like growing up out there during the time you grew up out east?
It was the neighborhood. It was the kids. It was nothing like it is today. And I'm not even speaking about East Nashville. I'm talking about Nashville as a whole. Like the Crystals was on the corner. We would meet up at the restaurants, go to places after school. They would go to Miss Winters on Gallatin Road across from East to go to school. It was just such a different time. And we were just kids growing up together. We would ride the bus, even if we weren't bus riders and got off at friends' houses to go for the weekend or whatever. It's just a much different time.
Definitely, indeed, indeed. Well, I didn't grow up out east. I grew up actually in Nashville, Antioch area. So I would say it was definitely different there than it is definitely different now compared to then. Now, of course, Antioch sometimes gets a bad name, but it actually is pretty quiet out here for the most part.
Now,
Oh, it's pretty quiet. It's been pretty.
oh, okay.
It's just the thing is, everyone thinks that Bell Road is all Antioch is all Bell Road, which that is the case. It
That's
actually.
because we on a whole different spectrum of the globe, so we don't really understand beyond
Mhm.
Gallatin Road.
Yeah, it kind of cracks me up. I'm just like, okay, no, Bell Road is all of Antioch. But anyway, so of course, growing up, everyone has aspirations and things they want to do. For me, wanted to be a pro football player. Obviously, that did not happen. But also wanted to be a sports agent. Obviously, that did not happen. But what was one thing growing up that you wanted to be?
I have always wanted to be a teacher. Always, from the time that I can remember having memories, I have always wanted to be a teacher. I used to play school with my dolls. I used to teach the dolls, the bears, the chairs. I used to line them up and set them, and I had a little board that I would be teaching at. From as long as I can remember, I have always wanted to be a teacher. Now, life lifed and led me to the capacity of the teacher that I became. But as a child, I've always wanted to teach. I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we're going to get into where you currently are now and how you kind of made that journey as well. But of course, first, we do have a commercial break on This Woman Works.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off of these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get this the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works. And of course, every episode or some episodes, people ask me, why do I have a beard butter commercial on a show about Black women? Now, follow me for a second. A lot of times, us as Black men, we don't necessarily take care of ourselves the greatest. And from time to time, it takes a Black woman to kind of point out, hey, you might want to knock the crust out your eye. You might want to do this. You might want to do, those different things. So I figured, hey, let's put EBO Beard Butter commercial on this show as well. So that way, you can give more things to point out for Black women that Black men need, like, beards that don't cut their face, those things. So
Right.
there we go. That's why I put that on this show. But going into the next part of the show, of course, your business. Can you please tell everyone the businesses that you have?
Well, for 24 years, I've been an early childhood educator. My daycare is Miss Tika's Tots. It's in my home. It's always been in my home. I am that neighborhood teacher that they were telling you about. I am an old school professional. Like I started as being the teacher that taught the kids because I had to learn and all of that kind of stuff. But as the years gone on, I'm the auntie or the grandma because I parent as well as teach. I know there's a lot of controversy and stuff that's going on right now with parents not being able to parent because, well, not being able to, but they're the problem as far as the way the kids behave in school or the way they can't teach because they don't know this and they don't know that. I've never been that teacher. I've never been that one that says that it starts at home. I believe it starts with me because I'm the teacher. Parents have so many other obligations to go through, especially now. And life literally is lifing. So I put myself in the position to give these children my 100% when I decided to go into this field. So I pride myself on giving that. If it's potty training, if it's teaching them how to spell their name, even if they're 4 and I feel like they should have already known how to spell their name, it prides me to give them what their parents aren't able to for a plethora of reasons. And I don't even get into all of that because I know what my position is in the village, and I take that very seriously. I also have a youth foundation. It's called the K.R.I.S Foundation. The acronym is K.R.I.S, named after my son. He was killed in a car wreck the morning after Christmas in 2013. And he was someone who was the textbook term of someone who was the product of their environment. We used to live in Madison in a very rural area where there wasn't even traffic up and down the street. Like the neighbors were the neighbors and we didn't see anybody else. I lost my infant son, and so I had to move from there, and we moved here where I am now on Clifton in West Nashville. And they literally, my daughter and my son, they literally sat outside the first day we moved in here and just watched the cars go up and down the street because they were amazed at seeing the traffic. So a year after I moved over here, he got caught up in the life of the neighborhood, and he was killed in a car wreck. So I started a foundation for the youth, and the acronym, I didn't even remember if I said it. It stands for Keep Reaching Inside Self, after his name. And I vow to give these children some mental strength strategies so that they can endure the world, endure school, endure peer pressure, endure all that, because we're coming up with kids that don't have conflict resolution. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate. And I just want to make a difference within that community as well as my toddler community. So I have both of those intertwined together. I would love for it to become something where my tots grow up, get involved in the K.R.I.S Foundation, grow out of that, and come back and help the others that come behind them.
Got you. So, when you first have a thought? I know about K.R.I.S, the K.R.I.S Foundation. I know that, but when did you first have a thought of doing this for yourself in terms of your taking care of toddlers and things like that? When did that first kind of come across? Just, I am gonna do this for me.
I don't even know if it's ever been for me. But I do know that when I lost my first son, he was an infant and he died of SIDS. I do know that I recall I had the daycare then, and my parents were like, you need to take off. You need to take some time off, be by yourself. These kids will be triggers and they'll, make you hurt and and I couldn't go a day without my kids. So I knew then that this is where I needed to be, because those kids, in whatever capacity I was dealing with them, was helping me at the same time. So they were a piece of my heart regardless. So that's probably when I figured it was for me as well. But starting it was not ever about me.
Okay, got you. So, as far as you mentioned that, as far as you can mention growing up, as far as you knew growing up, kind of teaching and things like that were within what you wanted to do. So when you started Miss Tika's Tots and and had started keeping kids, things like that, and teaching kids, when was that first moment you were like, okay, I'm living in my purpose now. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Did you have like one kid that kind of, I guess, showed something and be like, okay, cool, this is where I'm
I
supposed to
think
be,
I
or something
think
that
I
nature?
can remember it like besides the one when I lost my son, but my dad, he used to be an integral part. He's passed away now, but he used to be an integral part of my daycare and would come over here and play with the kids and do all of that. And they loved him like whatever. And he was just like, one day he was like, Shetika, why do you always get these kids that need something? They always need something that's outside of you just being the daycare provider. And I was like, I don't know. It must be God. The Lord is placing these children in my path for me to do what it is that I do. And I thought about that when he said that, because I didn't never think that I was going above and beyond of my daycare job duties, if you can put that in quotes. It was just what I did, you know what I'm saying, for my families, because when you come, we become family. I believe that daycare, yes, it is a business, but I'm taking care of children, so it's got to go way beyond just a business relationship. It's family. So I think I thought about that, and I was just like, this is my purpose, because when the Lord sends me challenging children and families that are also having challenges, that's when I put my position in the village. That's where I step in and I become a part of that. So I believe my daddy probably put that in my mind, and it just confirmed that I was doing what I needed to be doing, and I was in the spot that I needed to be in.
Now, with the Chris Foundation, did you have a moment in that foundation's history that kind of was like, okay, cool, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, when my son passed away, and it was heartbreaking, and you know, when it's your child, you're really got a tunnel vision on only your child. And I remember I did a news interview, and I said I was too busy trying to protect my son that I didn't realize that the kids around him also needed that same protection, because they were always at my house. They were always, here and laughing and playing. I didn't know what they did when they went out, but they felt comfortable here. So I was like, I have to take my focus off of just mine and not have that tunnel vision, and remember that the same way I feel about my tots, I have to have that same energy for the bigger kids as well.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, of course, with every business, there are some challenges and you have to overcome some challenges as well. We're going to get into those challenges and what those were and how you kind of overcame those. But first, we're going to go to one more commercial break on This Woman Works.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, we are back on This Woman Works with Miss Shetika Davis. Now, I want to go into, of course, every business has their moment where, some challenges happen. But, of course, you face those and you overcome those. So what was, along your business journey, what was something that happened that was maybe a setback or an issue that came about in terms of, maybe funding, or maybe just kids stop coming, or an issue with some of the kids or anything of that nature?
I think the biggest challenge that I've had being in the daycare sector is the Department of Human Services, the bureaucracy and politicalness of it all, the rules and the regulations that aren't designed to help the children. I've always been someone that rebels, I guess, against things that don't make sense when rules and stuff are set in place. So the biggest challenges for me has been I guess we call them the higher ups that you have to go through to be in business, to do what it is that you want to do, but you have to go by the rules that they have set forth in front of you. Of course, I've had parents that don't want to do this, pay when they want it. All of that is mediocre to me because I can, nip that in the bud and figure out how we're going to work it out or not work it out, find somebody else to go. I don't have a problem with that. My biggest concern has always been, my biggest obstacle has always been that. And it's still today.
Got you. So, with that, of course, in those different things, you have maybe someone that maybe wanting to get into the business of doing, childcare and teaching children and want to do it from their home or wherever. What's any advice you could have for them in terms of maybe how to get into that field or how to, I guess, sustain mentally in that field when it does seem like things are not working out?
Is definitely the word. First, I would say it's got to be your passion. It's got to be your passion, because if you're going into this business thinking that it's something easy to do where you can make some money and you don't have to go out into the work field, then you're sadly mistaken. Secondly, you have to be strong. You have to have a voice for yourself, and you have to stand up for when you know that people are BSing you, because it will happen. It will definitely happen, and you will have to go in knowing exactly what it is you need to do and not allow people to tell you something blindly that you haven't researched. So if you're planning on going into the daycare field, regardless if it's in your home, in a building, in a partnership, whatever it is, do your research on what the rules and the regulations are. Figure out what it is that you want to battle, because there will be some battles. There's not going to be anything that's going to be smooth sailing, and make sure that you have the wherewithal to stand up for what you want to do and you complete that race.
Gotcha. Definitely sounds like a few different things can and will happen, but you also have to be able to, I guess, mentally be able to make it through, which is great advice, because life, all things aren't going to happen mentally that are going to come at you, but you do have to be able to survive those different things, because life's going to life at one point
You
or
have
another.
to, and it's just a lot when it comes to the government that people shy away from, and they're like, it's not worth it. I'm not going to fight with them. I'm not going to go through it. That's why I say you got to have that passion already, because that'll be, part ways of your fire to fight. If you don't have that, you can easily give up and say, forget it. I don't want to do it no more. It's just not worth my time. So that's probably a good thing too, because you don't have the passion for it. So you probably don't need to be in these kids' lives anyway. But just guarantee that there will be obstacles that will bring you to the point of saying, I give up, y'all win. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen, because if we had so many more people out here that stood up, then we probably could make some ground as far as DHS is concerned. But that's a whole nother topic.
I hear you there. So, definitely in having this episode, we've definitely learned that you definitely have a passion for children. Life events that have happened have definitely helped you become who you are. And you always had a passion just for helping and teaching and want to be a teacher. And that's very, very commendable. Very, very needed, I would say, in terms of teaching kids and helping kids grow and learn and matriculate into society as well. I don't want to end the show, talking about advice and things like that. I always end the show with a game.
Okay.
And this speed round. It's 10 questions. They're random questions. I didn't give you these questions ahead of time. So
No,
it's going to be fun to hear these answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who would play you in a biopic?
Oh Lord, I guess what's her name that was in A Thin Line?
Thin Line Between Love and Hate. You talking about Lynn
Yeah,
Whitfield?
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Best
Just
movie you ever
because of her
watched?
demeanor, just because of her demeanor and her attitude towards things, like not the what we've seen, but if they put her in that position, I think she would do very well.
She plays a good mean actress. She does.
Right.
um, what's the best movie you've ever watched?
The best what?
Best movie you've ever watched?
Grease is my favorite movie. Grease 1, the
Yeah, not
very
Grease
first
too.
Grease.
Yeah, don't say Grease too because I don't even. I try to forget
No,
that one.
no. Grease 1. That's I'm adamant about letting people know that it's only the first one.
Right, right. Favorite actress?
Oh gosh, who is a favorite actress?
I can come back to it.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Worst movie you've ever watched?
the worst movie I've ever watched is probably one of those long Freddy's that they took forever to keep on making when they should have just stopped. Freddy or Jason, one of them after they should have stopped making them. One of those.
Yeah, I've had an answer on here saying Jason in Space, Jason X, that one.
Yes,
Jason in Space, that was the
absolutely
worst.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm mad at myself for watching it.
I wish I keep wondering when somebody's gonna say Soul Plane, but ain't nobody said it yet.
But it's not bad. I liked Soul Plane.
I tried. I tried. I was like, nah, I can't do it. But best vacation spot you've ever been to?
Best vacation spot I've ever been to was probably Huntsville. And you know
Okay.
that's weird because it's not like a beach and the tropics and across the island. It's just something about Huntsville's atmosphere that lifts you up and gives you a light. I don't know. I can't explain it. And I've only
Mhm.
been once, but I've been dying to get back because Huntsville just brings out I don't know, like a joy to me.
Mhm.
To me.
Gotcha. Got you. All right. Favorite food?
Chicken.
Chicken. All right.
My
Best
daddy used
childhood
to say
memory?
I was gonna turn into a bird when I was little.
All right. Best childhood memory?
My best childhood memory. Oh gosh, that's not good because I blocked out a lot of my childhood
We'll
memories.
come back. We'll come
Yeah.
back. All right. Let's see. Best food spot in Nashville.
It used to be J. Alexander's,
Uh-huh. I remember
but a
that as a
lot of
kid.
things have happened with J. Alexander, so it's no longer that. So I'm gonna go with it's actually in Franklin. It's Granite City.
Okay. I've heard of that.
The brunch,
Okay.
they have a good brunch on Sundays. I love there.
Okay. All right. Worst driving experience in Nashville since, for those that don't know, people talk about Nashville drivers all the time. So across the country, I don't know if you've heard that, but in Nashville, we always hear that. So what is your worst driving experience in Nashville?
Here recently is the people, and I'm not sure where they've come from, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no driving etiquette on the
Mm-hmm.
road anymore. Like it's just like I'm here and I'm going there, and I don't care that you're right here. I'm not gonna let you know that I'm going. Like it was literally today a wreck was on the main road. It wasn't even a back road or nothing. And the police officer was cocked out. He was in the turning lane, but his back end was cocked out. Now the cars had moved. The cars that had wrecked had moved out the way, but he was still right there causing the traffic up and down the road simply because of the way he was parked. Like I don't think people I don't know where they come from. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how driving was there. But we in the South, so we have manners when it comes to a lot of things that I don't think these people know anything about.
Well, I got one theory about Nashville, and everyone talks about Nashville drivers and things like that, but I also have a theory My theory is there's so many people from all different places here in Nashville. I mean, there's Nashville drivers, but you also got people coming from New York, your LA, Chicago, your Floridas, your Atlantas, your Alabamas,
California. Yeah.
everywhere, anywhere.
Yeah.
And all those different driving styles in one place makes for an interesting thing.
Because you can't just pinpoint Nashville drivers.
Right.
They're
You can.
from a little bit of everywhere now. We can because we used to have a certain amount of je ne sais quoi when we drove. But now you can know that they can't be from here, because how would you just pull out like that and I'm this close to you? Like, that makes absolutely no sense at all.
I hear you. We're gonna go back to let's see, what question we gonna go
The
back
actress.
to? Favorite actress.
I'm gonna say Regina King. Regina King has a plethora of levels that she's on with acting, and I'm gonna go with Regina.
All right. And let's see. Best childhood memory. Do you have one?
If I can just go to one, I guess I would say when my daddy used to come, because we had a big family on my mom's side, and we would all gather up at my grandmama's house on the weekends or holidays or whatever. And my daddy lived in some apartments with the swimming pool, and he would just come and pick all of us up, like everybody up. That's when we could ride in the back of trucks and stuff, and take us to swimming and different activities and stuff. So I guess that would be my best childhood memory, is when my dad would gather all of my cousins together and we would just have good times together.
Pool party. All right. Right now. We have reached the end of the speed round. I want to thank you for coming on the show, Miss Shetika Davis.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, Miss Tika's Tots. We got the K.R.I.S Foundation as well. Of course, just want to, of course, do you want to give the the way that people can reach out to you in terms of the businesses, things like that?
Yes, you can reach me. You can find me on Facebook at Miss Tika's Tots. Instagram is misstikastots.earlylearning. And the K.R.I.S Foundation's email is thekrisfoundationnashville@gmail.com. We actually have a workshop coming up on the 19th, effective communication, and that's for the whole family. So we're trying to get the family dynamics to communicate and break out of these barriers of holding stuff in and not knowing how to talk. We're going to try to get some tools together so we can get these families back to communicating.
And that's October 19th for those listening. October 19th.
October 19th.
I didn't want to think 19th December, stuff like that. Yeah, I just want to make sure we got it clear. But I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Of course, to those that don't know, I am the host of the show. I'm Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton82. That's MikePatton 82. I say the artist formerly known as Twitter, to honor one of the greatest artists of all time. That would be Prince. As far as, you can find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE _general_MP. Of course, This Woman Works. You can find it on YouTube at the Mike Patton Network. You can also find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of This Woman Works. We're out. Peace.